What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about something strange going on with Life is Strange, and I did plan the title accordingly because of that. But no, this is something we've talked about a little, but I really want to take a deep look. This actually wasn't the video I was planning on making this weekend, but I've noticed something, and I've noticed something in regards to Chloe, and I think to some people, it gets very scary. In fact, the Twitter thread we're going to read is a person that is, not a fan base, and I respect that. I absolutely want to just say in the beginning of this video, I respect those that basically don't have confidence that, like, this is going to go in a good way. I'm trying to be optimistic. I mean, that's just me. I really want this game to be good. I want them to respect the first game. And if you know what, if they don't do it, I will be the first one to tell you. I will make videos and we will talk about it. But this is a real thing. This is something that people have been talking about for a while, and I want to jump in. So what am I talking about? I would say, to put it briefly, it's why aren't we seeing anything with the choice that Chloe is alive? Okay, that's boiled down. Because what we've really seen so far, and I want to try to look at a couple specifics, but we've really, I think, seen so much of if you choose the saving Arcadia Bay and losing Chloe. I feel like a lot of this game so far has been that, and I feel like in terms of gameplay, in terms of what they've even talked about, and whenever it gets like deep into Chloe, it's always, well, we can't talk about it. Like, we have to wait. And we talked about this actually right with the breakdown I did on PAX. Even the direct question about Chloe, the response, and I don't mind it, but it is starting to get weird. Like, I gotta be honest. The response was, we can't talk about it. Like, we have to hold off for now. So I want to look at this tweet, right? This comes from Kino Astral, and they say, Max dedicating her journal entries to Chloe in the same way Chloe dedicated her journal entries to Max in Before the Storm. Oh man, as much as I love the idea, what about Bay? If Max also writes to Chloe, it's worrying because Chloe's alive. She could have directly talked to her instead. And this was, I think this is from somebody who actually got to play the game, this graphic. In Max's journal, given it's in the Sacrifice Chloe ending, all of the entries are related to Chloe, as if Max is writing to Chloe because of how much she misses her and how heartbroken she is to this day about Chloe's passing. I want to read just one other part to this from the same Twitter user, right? I'm at a point where I genuinely believe the avoidance when it comes to anything Bay/Chloe related is an attempt at damage control. They've done something to them, but they don't want to say anything because they know they'll anger a good portion of the fandom. And again, this is why I say, like, I come at this from respect, because I totally respect that. That tweet right there, I think, is so true for the group that believes it. And I don't say that in any negative way whatsoever. I think that could be the truest tweet you've ever seen in your life if it goes that way. Right? Now, we don't know fully. I mean, this entire video, much like a lot of videos I've done on Life is Strange Double Exposure so far, has been speculation. We won't know until really episode 1. Really, that early access, like getting the collectors or whatever you have to do, which I'm going to do. I'm going to do whatever it takes to get this game that 2 weeks early to play episodes 1 and 2. That's when we'll find out. And we'll start to find out. I guess we won't fully find out, but we'll start, right? That could totally be true, and I absolutely respect that kind of argument where, yeah, and I want to jump in on, I agree so far on what are they doing? Like, why aren't we seeing the choosing Chloe one, right? The biggest hints we've gotten is that they've broken up. Like, that is what scares me. And I think that actually is what gives that tweet a little bit more, like, power, right? Where it's like, anytime they've even gone remotely towards Chloe, it's probably that they're not together. And then every other time, it's always been that Chloe's, like, we've seen in these gameplay previews, we've seen in PAX when I did my breakdown video, right? What did we see? We saw Joyce's messages where Chloe's dead. In this one, this person that seemingly also played it, right? They say that in Max's journal, which I like, by the way, that people are, like, analyzing these things, because this is important to Life is Strange, right? But they went into the journal, and they found entries that Chloe is dead. So all of these playthroughs that people are doing, seemingly, right, that I'd say Deck 9 is letting people do, all of them seem to be the Chloe is dead choice. So what about the Chloe is alive choice? And I mentioned this in that PAX video. Like, what will change? It's got to change, right? Like, the responses in the journal have got to change. The text messages have got to change. They almost have to make like two different games, not entirely, but you got to make two completely different outcomes. Those texts can't be the same. The posts on that one app that she has cannot be the same. The journal entries, 1,000% can't be the same because she'll have a literal different life. Like, think about this, right? You choose one person over a town or a town over the one person. You're going to have a vastly different experience in the next 10 years of your life, depending on what you choose. I'm not saying which one is right or wrong. That's for you to choose, and that's like the whole point of the final choice, right? It's up to you. But you're going to have, if you actually made that choice, if you were Max Caulfield, you would have a different life experience in those 10 years. You would feel guilt differently. You would, if you're writing in a journal or a diary, you're going to write different things depending on them. Where is the other one? Why are we only getting one? Now, I want to point out one specific thing is, I think it was that Welcome to Caledon University video, and I did a whole breakdown video. We went through the whole thing. Towards the end of that, there is one entry of her journal where she's, I guess, drawing. It's not even writing. She's drawing very, like, disturbing imagery, right? It looks like things, like, up in flames. It looks, I don't want to say, like, demonic. It looks like sadness. It looks like loss. Like, people have, I don't want to say, like, certain words on YouTube, right? Like, it looks like certain things, okay? So I want to bring that up because I do think that could be a clip of where she chose Chloe over the town. Because if you only lose Chloe, I don't know, like that picture to me represents like she's feeling great remorse or great, grief or whatever for like an entire town and hundreds of people dying, right? And that's why she's like writing those things. That's why it looks like that. It's basically haunting her, right? And I love, by the way, I said in that video, I love that. I think that's super cool. That is the only thing I can, now it's on the top of my head, okay? But it's the only thing I can think of right now that may have been the choosing Chloe to survive ending, because that's kind of the grief that Max is living through because of her choice, at the end of Life is Strange. So I wanted to throw that in because that is the one example, but everything else we've seen, yeah. So I don't know. I mean, my final predictions here, like, look, I really do think it's possible that they could be disappointing us and they don't want to give it away and they're kind of hiding away from it. I will say this though, right, to be a little bit of an optimist, right? It's also possible that, like, if they were to show it, like, these are big moments or these are big things, it really comes down to, and we've talked about this so many times, so I don't want to, keep going on it, but, like, how long or how much is Chloe in this game, right? Because if Chloe's in it for, like, 2 minutes, if you show anything Chloe related, you just showed the whole thing. And you're not only going to make people disappointed, but you also gave it away. If Chloe's in it for a long time, maybe you don't want to give that away. You know what I mean? So almost secrecy, one way of looking at it is secrecy in a bad way, right? That they're afraid, that they know they're going to disappoint, so they're hiding. It's a them trying to hide themselves away kind of secrecy. The other kind of secrecy is, and to be fair, gaming developers are secret all the time. They will lie about some things in games to not give certain things away. They will not show certain things in games. They will not talk about certain things in games because they don't want to give specific elements, right, about the game away. So to be fair, I want to throw that out because that could very easily be what they're doing. They're just hiding it. They know people are excited, but they're not going to give it away. I will agree that the way they've handled it makes them look like they're hiding in a bad way more than a good way. I think that's pretty fair to say based off everything we've seen so far. But, ultimately, final verdict can't really be delivered until episode 1. And maybe not even until episode 5, when we beat the game. But for sure, episode 1, because we're going to start to see almost immediately, right, how these two, and I mean, I'm going to have to play the game twice. I mean, I've already kind of, like, figured that out in my head. Like, yeah, I'm going to have to play through, I'll save Chloe maybe the first time, go through that, and then we'll have to see what changes in the journal, what changes with text, what changes with what Max says in real life, right? Like, what changes based off those two. So I'll be playing the game twice so I can report that to you guys, in video form. But you let me know what you guys think about this conversation. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on. I hope to see you all on the next one.